So welcome, guys. Episode 5 now. Is it 5? I think it's
Yeah.
5. Episode 5.
Cinco.
Let us start with. I will start with apologizing to Lisandro Martinez.
Thank you, please. On behalf of the
I
Lisandro Martinez fan base, I accept your apology.
would like to formally apologize to Lisandro Martinez for not trusting and not believing in this man's talents. This is the second game in a row where he's had a man of the match performance. Last week against Liverpool, this week against Southampton, he was all over the place. Or he had a great game today with Varane, and they really held down for Man United.
Thank you. We forgive you, like I said. And I will make sure that Martinez gets this message. See, there's nothing wrong with admitting admitting you were wrong. See, like that's big of you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank
with Man United, I mean, it's only Southampton. The way we were talking about them when they lost 4-0 compared to now is huge, and it's only been like 2 weeks. So they're stepping in the right direction.
I think the nicest thing that Ten Hag did was actually keep players. He got rid of the players that he wanted to get rid of. He put them on the bench. He felt like he wasn't getting enough production from Ronaldo, from Fred, from Maguire. Or he had the balls to take Maguire out, something that managers haven't been able to do for the past 2 years. Either Solskjaer or Ralph Ragnick. No one really had the guts to take Maguire out, admitting that he was part of the problem. So right now you have a partnership of Varane and Lisandro that has actually been very, very solid. Against Liverpool, they conceded that Mo Salah goal, but that didn't take anything away from their defense.
Yeah, and now with the addition of Casemiro, you have something with those three. Lisandro Martinez, Varane, and Casemiro in front of them to protect them. You have a nice base going on in Man United defensively.
Yeah. Also, you with Eriksen, that Casemiro signing Casemiro gives you freedom for Eriksen to go up a little more. He can start creating more for the team. I think the one, if I look at Man United right now and I see one player they need to change up, it's probably Elanga. I think Elanga is too young to have that much pressure on him.
I agree. It's not so much the pressure, because I don't think the club's putting pressure or the fan base. It's just that he's getting too much of an opportunity. Like, you're Man United, you're not Borussia Dortmund. You don't develop players. Like, you give him 20, 30 minutes a game and let him grow traditionally.
Yeah, and honestly, another thing to mention is him benching Ronaldo kind of really set the tone for Ten Hag. Benching Ronaldo for 2 games in a row and also getting results 2 games in a row. Like today, they didn't particularly play well, but they got the result, which is the important thing. Because this is a game that Man United would have lost last year or would have tied last year. But they actually stuck to it, got a result, and hey, they got 2 wins in a row. They're flying high.
They're looking good. This is what we love about the Premier League. We had them dead 2 weeks ago, and now they're actually solid.
Speaking of teams that were dead 2 weeks ago, but kind of blew up today, Liverpool 9-0 without Darwin Núñez, without Thiago, without Salah scoring. Salah just took a day off today.
Very impressive by Liverpool today.
What did you think of that? Your boy Diaz had 2 goals, almost had a third.
Proud. Like a proud uncle in the stands. That's how I felt watching him today. No, Liverpool they decided to bully Bournemouth today, and that's fine. It's a good rebound performance, but are they going to be able to continue this the rest of the season? You know, it's nice to win 9-0, but can you win 1-0 in those tough games? Can you win 2-1? Can you pull out a victory against Fulham, against Crystal Palace, at Crystal Palace? These are the results that are going to matter for Liverpool. Like it's nice that you won the game that you're supposed to win, but running up the scoreline doesn't really mean anything to me.
I disagree with you completely. I think running up the scoreline in this scenario kind of gives them their confidence back, because they've been lacking that edge that Liverpool normally has, and winning like that would gets this team together, gets them to kind of play for one another in a way, and it kind of puts you back into that mindset that Liverpool can actually achieve something this year. Kind of like collective bounce back. The team still has its injuries, but you still pulled a result like this out. So it's a good result for the team, and I don't think you have to prove anything. Is Liverpool like last year? They would pull those results out. The 1-0, that close game, that neck and neck game that they need a result. They'd pull it out of the bag. Liverpool over the past 3 or 4 years, they've proven that they can do that. This year, I think it's a slow start, but this Bournemouth win puts them back on track.
So to me, I kind of look at it the way we look at NFL. Every week is its own separate thing. Like we've seen teams in the NFL blow out a team and then lose the week after. That's kind of how I view soccer. So it's nice that you won 9-0, but I still have two major questions with Liverpool that haven't been answered by this game. One is, will Van Dijk revert back to the Van Dijk we know and love? To me, this was an okay performance, but I want to see him against in the big games, against Tottenham, against Arsenal, against Man City. What kind of Van Dijk are we going to get? Question number two, if Salah isn't firing on all cylinders, which he hasn't been yet, where are the goals going to come from? Are they going to be distributed like they are today? Or are they going to come from Luis Diaz? Are they going to come from the midfield? I mean, I don't know if that's a reliable situation for Liverpool.
See, this is the thing with today. Today showed you Firmino's capabilities. So Firmino today had a great game, actually, like 3 assists, 2 goals. It showed you that Firmino could be productive. It also showed you Diaz could be productive. Not just productive, he's an aerial threat as well. So both goals today were scored by a header, by Diaz. So this kind of gives you back that the things you were missing that you thought you would miss by Mane, you see that Diaz is capable of doing. But right now, I think it's consistency with Diaz.
I'm going to remind you one time. It's one game.
Of course. Look, it is one game, but like I said, it's the game they needed to win today. Today they needed to win.
Yeah, for sure they needed it. It would have been a catastrophe if they drew or lost. So it's good that they won. It's good that they won in the fashion that they did as well. I agree with you. But one game. Let's see what happens.
No one's denying it's one game. We all know it's one game. But also there's a couple of things to pinpoint in that game. I really like that kid that they got from Fulham, Carvalho.
Yeah, he's been impressive. I've seen him in small stints. He hasn't been getting a lot of game time. But he's looked good when he's been on the field.
Also, Elliot had a really good game today. Elliot, this is one thing I like about Elliot. Gives me Milner vibes as he fights for every ball. He has that classic English mindset when it comes to the game, where he's just flying through tackles. If he loses the ball, he's there to try to collect it, try to pick it up. That's something that I really like to see from Elliot.
Yeah, and if you're a Premier League team, you always need a couple of guys like that just to do the nasty work in midfield.
But I do agree with you in the sense that Van Dijk, I didn't see much of Van Dijk because realistically, Bournemouth didn't really threat Liverpool today. Yeah, there was no threat. Yeah, yeah, and there was something to there's something to learn maybe this week when they play Newcastle and on Wednesday. That's when you might see something from Van Dijk. That's when either you figure out if Van Dijk is that guy that's going to stop and command your defense, or is it going to be the Van Dijk that we saw 2 games ago or last game, where he's not doing as much as he should.
And it also tests the mentality of Liverpool, like their fortitude. So you're coming off of this huge win. You're high in confidence, like you said. You're feeling good about yourself. Are you gonna take it easy in the Newcastle game? Are you gonna be relaxed about it? How's your intensity level gonna be?
The thing for Liverpool, I think this week against Newcastle is you're gonna play at home, so you're gonna have the crowd with you. So that's a big plus. But it can't turn into a Crystal Palace game. You need to you can't concede first. You need to score. You need to be the one that starts the game off strong, or else it's going to revert back to that thing with Man United or Fulham or Crystal Palace where you concede and then it looks like you're chasing the game. Like against Man United, it was 2-0 Man United, and it looked like Liverpool were chasing the game. Even though Liverpool in the second half did play better, but the first half was so bad that it didn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they definitely want to score first. But another team who doesn't really need to score first, Man City.
Oh, they don't care about scoring first. They can see 0-3. It's fine. They come back.
Man City has been looking incredible lately. And the style that they've been winning, like today, for example, against Crystal Palace, they're down 2-0. They end up winning 4-2. This is going to prove dividends when they're playing the Champions League. Because Man City's been dominant for years now. But the style that they've been winning now, like if you can come back and you can come back with a number 9 like Haaland, that's going to be huge when you have those Champions League games and knockout stages.
Mhm. See, this is the thing. Holland is such a force to be reckoned with in the Premier League. People don't understand how scary it is. Man City don't need Haaland, yet they have him. It's a luxury. It's such a luxury, but it's going to be such a weapon. Haaland, out of nowhere, scored a hat-trick today. Out of nowhere, scored a hat-trick. The team didn't particularly play well. Yet they still came out with a dominating result. Like, if you didn't watch the game, you thought that, oh, yeah, for sure, Man City dominated that game.
Yeah, no, 100%. And to be honest with you, I first saw this with Haaland before he even made his transfer to Man City. Because I'd watched them over the years, and I see the amount of chances they create. And they had players like Jesus. They have Gundogan. They'll have Aguero for a little while, tail end of his career. But there were so many chances that they would produce every game. Where like you don't even need Haaland. If you just had like an adequate number 9 that you relied on in the box, he'd be scoring 2 goals a game. So imagine getting someone like Haaland who really doesn't even need that much need that much distribution. So it's a match made in heaven. Also, second thing, he's breaking that German stereotype by just hitting the ground running. So that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. This was a reference to who? Timo Werner?
Yeah. Yes,
Who else?
I mean, I guess Naby Keita at this point.
I don't know what's going on with Naby Keita. He's not on the team anymore. I don't know. The reports say that he is injured, but other reports say that he's trying to force a move outside of Liverpool. I think Liverpool need depth. There was a report saying that Liverpool might try to go for De Jong. I think that I don't think that's going to go through because De Jong did admit that he wanted to stay at Barcelona. He was trying to rework that contract.
If I'm De Jong though, that would be a great move for him to go to Liverpool. I think that's a match made in heaven. Barcelona clearly don't want him. I don't know why. I think they're idiots because he's their best midfielder at the moment. I mean, Pedri and him are like 1 and 2, let's say.
No, he's their best player, definitely.
Yeah, but if you're Liverpool, he's exactly what you need. He's an athletic guy. He's an engine in midfield. He can defend. He can distribute. He makes late runs into the box. He has a good brain on him. He knows how to pick out passes, through balls. You need a guy like that if you're Liverpool. You need some more creativity in your midfield.
He honestly fixes all your problems. He really does. And the one thing that I know for sure, if you bring a De Jong, I know that Henderson's not seeing the field anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a direct replacement for Henderson, a better version of Henderson, where he's a great box to box, but that is very skillful. So him and Thiago would run that midfield with Fabinho in the back.
I think you instantly become a top 5 midfield in the world with Thiago, Fabinho, and De Jong.
Mm-hmm. And then you have strikers to feed like Salah and Jota when he comes back, and Nunez when he comes back, and Diaz right now. So it would really put that team on a different level.
Yeah, and De Jong gives you a goal threat. Liverpool hasn't had that for a while. They don't score many goals out of midfield. De Jong has that ability. He doesn't show it that much with Barcelona because of their style of play, but he's capable of it. Like I've seen him in Ajax play that up tempo, high pressure type of play, and he excels in that.
I agree with you there, and I think that's why Liverpool Klopp. That's why Klopp plays a lot of right wings and left wings in midfield. Like you see Elliott plug in the midfield. You see Carvalho go in the midfield. You saw it with Shaqiri, Minamino, Oxlade-Chamberlain. You see Klopp needs tempo in the midfield. So he puts a winger or two to try to gain that tempo. That's good, but it reduces your control in midfield. You don't have as much of a control on the midfield, in the middle of the park as you would if you had a natural midfielder that knows his roles. Like De Jong fixes all of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he'd be the perfect signing for Liverpool this summer.
Yeah.
But back to the Man City game. So watching that first half, Crystal Palace looked amazing, especially without what they were able to do without Wilfred Zaha. Mm-hmm. Patrick Vieira, I was giving him his flowers early while watching that game. Yeah. They were just incredible defensively. It was like watching a real life FIFA game. Mm-hmm. Parking the bus, 2 chances, 2 goals. I mean, if you're Guardiola, you wanted to rage quit at minute 30. But that just shows you how scary Man City is. I mean, second half rolls around. Haaland turns into a monster, and the guy who's not going to get a lot of credit because of the Haaland hat trick is Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva was the catalyst of that second half. He's the guy who took the initiative, got on the ball, started to dribble. He scored the first goal. Was causing all type of problems for Crystal Palace on that right hand side.
Mhm.
I thought his performance was incredible today.
It felt like it was a matter of time. You see, if I were to play devil's advocate here, I don't think that Man City would have gotten a result if Wilfried Zaha was on the field, because they would have had to defend them so bad that you would have one or two players in the back looking at Zaha, trying to monitor his movements and be basically there to stop a guy like Wilfried Zaha. The thing I did see today was, realistically, other than Eze, I don't think Newcastle played particularly well in the second half specifically.
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up. I like Eze. I mean, I believe he was the distributor for both goals. He took the corners.
Yeah.
But he's missing something. Like he seems like he's naturally talented, but on the ball, like his decision making is really iffy. I mean, too many times he would lose it easily in the counter attack. Like, I think he needs some work, but he has the potential to be a really solid player for Crystal Palace.
I think Crystal Palace are very athletic. They're not very. I think they missed that with Gallagher. When you lose Gallagher in last season, he goes back to Chelsea. You don't replace him directly with a creative midfielder, somebody that's technical on the ball, that's very that could give you something out of nowhere, brilliant piece of skill that could change a game. They're very athletic, and I think the only person that gives you that is Zaha and Eze. But Eze, you feel like he gets tired after 50 minutes, 60 minutes. He doesn't really give you as much of a threat after that.
To me, it's not so much tired. He's just not mature. He's not mature enough. Like, there's certain things you can tell when a player has experience. I mean, he get on the ball, it's a counter attack. Kill the game a bit. If you're Eze, kill the game a bit. Give Kyle Walker your back. Try to post them up. Wait for a teammate to come in. I mean, you just got the ball. Man City's pressuring you. You guys are tired. These are tactics that a player gets with experience, and I think he lacks that right now. But also, I don't think it was a personnel issue. Like you said, if Zaha was on the field, it wouldn't have been that easy for Man City.
It would have been a bit more difficult for sure.
I agree to the extent of the first half, which is redundant because they already did incredible in the first half, Crystal Palace. I think the main difference was Guardiola showed you his quality coming out of halftime. Because what is halftime in all practicality? It's the coaches. The second half is known as the coaches' half. That's when adjustments are made. And Man City came out in that Gundogan, the Gundogan change tactically when he took out Cancelo and put Gundogan in, destroyed Vieira's game plan. They didn't, because all type of openings started to happen, all type of holes in their defense. So I think Vieira had a good game plan going into the game, but his adjustments weren't there at halftime.
Again, it goes back to my point from last week. I do genuinely think Gundogan is their best player right now. Of course, it's hard to say that after Haaland, what Haaland just did, but I think Gundogan has been the more consistent player.
Honestly, for me, Silva gets my vote. I love watching Bernardo Silva play for them. I think he's the domino in that team.
See, this is what's funny. In the past 3 weeks, we've just mentioned 5 guys that could be their best player. And that's what's scary about Man City, is they can hit you. You have Bernardo Silva, you got De Bruyne, then you have Gundogan coming off the bench. Foden, you still haven't seen Foden or Mahrez at all yet. And that's what's scary about Man City, and that's why I don't see anybody challenging them. I think they're going to run away with the league by December. And it's going to be one of those what if moments. Like, what if Liverpool invested a little more? What if Chelsea brought in the right guys? And all these what ifs wouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, Man City is pumping on all cylinders, and Guardiola just knows how to use his squad. I mean, Guardiola is one of those managers that deserves all the praise he gets. Man City is not the only team that could spend outrageous amounts of money, and even right now they don't spend money they don't spend money like they used to. Right now,
even Haaland wasn't that expensive in this transfer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wasn't. And look back to their Cucurella saga. Brighton wanted 60 mil, and Man City thought that was too much for a left back. You go to a couple of other players, they don't they have a set amount. If they don't get that player for that amount, they're not going to bother with it. So they're very smart with their transfers. They're not out all over the place like Man United, for say.
Yeah, Man City is like a well-run business right now. The ownership is good, CEO is good, president's good, and the managerial staff is good. Like everyone's understands each other. They have a game plan. They have a vision. They have goals, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and they're hitting it. They're just they know what they're doing exactly right now, Man City. And they had one weakness, which was that number 9. Even all these years when they've been winning the league and they've been dominant, and been getting bounced out the Champions League, it's just that number 9 has always been that hole that pundits love to talk about. And now you've got the best number 9 in the world.
Yeah.
So,
see, the thing is, I don't think it was like adequate strikers like you mentioned, because the thing with Jesus, like Jesus is showing you right now, he has that in his back with Arsenal. Aguero, of course, Aguero is one of the top strikers in Premier League history. I think honestly, if Aguero was under that Pep system, or a younger Aguero was under that Pep system, that would have been a scarier sight to see. Aguero's already a legend. Imagine if he had that time under Guardiola.
Yeah.
So bring in Haaland. It doesn't just plug in all your inconsistencies. It also adds another dynamic, because right now, worst case scenario, you have crossers that could cross the ball into a tall, strong, fit Haaland that could just
get that. I feel like you just read my mind. That's exactly where I was going to go with this. He adds exactly what you just said. I'm just going to repeat it. He adds a whole nother dimension to the game. Everyone knows how Guardiola loves to play. Possession, side to side. You get to the box, you cut it back. He's been doing that since the Barcelona days. Haaland, besides being a very effective striker and scoring those tap-ins and making the best out of those opportunities, adds a whole nother dimension. You could just cross the ball into the box. The guy's 6 foot, a million. I mean, he can put a header into the goal.
Also, he's such a big figure that he could just post up and start inviting.
That third goal might have been the most impressive goal I've seen all season.
Honestly, to be honest, looking at that third goal, I thought they were going to take the ball off him. I genuinely thought that Chris Palace was going to take the ball off him. 2 players close up, and then he just puts one to the side, kicks it immediately with no time for Anderson to catch up.
I'm watching it in real time. I'm watching Gundogan run with the ball, and Haaland has space for the first time all game, like behind defense. He has space to run into. And he's literally yelling at Gundogan. And at that point, I'm yelling at Gundogan. Because Gundogan is taking his sweet time. Like, he's waiting for the defenders to get close to make it a fair fight.
Yeah.
Passes the ball late. And Haaland literally posts the guy up like 0-1 Sheikh. And then he doesn't even think about the finish. Perfect finish into the left-hand corner. I mean, if you can do that in your Haaland, how do you defend that?
Against Crystal Palace of all teams. Crystal Palace is a very strong team, and you managed to do that to them.
Yeah, and then keep in mind the circumstance. This was really his first opportunity, like I said, where he was able to run behind the defense. There was some space. They're not always going to be 2-0 down in the first half.
No.
They're going to be winning by a goal or winning by 2-0, and then you're going to be forced to give Haaland that space. What are you going to do when that happens if you're Premier League teams or Champions League teams? What are you going to do when he has that much space and acres to run into? And all he really needs is half an opportunity.
That's true. So speaking of the Champions League, what do we think of Group A? What do you think of Group A?
What do I think of Group A? I think Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, Rangers, is a pretty solid group. Liverpool's clearly winning that group, I think. That's unanimous. Ajax and Napoli are probably going to get that second spot, and I'd give the edge to Ajax at the moment.
Why would you say that? Why do you say Ajax over Napoli?
Really, to me, it was a throw up. It could easily be Napoli. I just prefer Ajax's style of play. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. But Liverpool for sure is winning that league.
Okay, so this is interesting to me. I do think Liverpool's going to top the group. I don't think Ajax are going to be as strong with their new management because Ten Hag is going to leave a void for Ajax. I do think Napoli is going to go in second, but here's my surprise. I think Rangers are going to get third in the group. I think it's
Oh,
gonna be Liverpool. It's gonna be Liverpool, Napoli, Rangers, Ajax.
so you think Ajax is last place?
I think they're gonna be bottom of the group.
See, I hear your point about management, but I think Ajax is more of a philosophy type of club, kind of like Dortmund, where okay, they'll have great managers, they'll make a difference, but in general, you don't see them have many down years because they just have a strict philosophy on the way they want to play, the way they want to approach things. Maybe the personnel isn't as good as it was in previous years, but I think they're good enough to get second place in this group.
I mean, I like their personnel. I like Anthony. I like some of their players up front. I like their midfield. I just think that Rangers is such a good team. Rangers last year surprised many for reaching the Europa League final, right? And I think that they strengthened this year, and they're gonna probably come out third in that group. It's gonna be a difficult team to beat. They're one of those teams that they fight for every ball. They're very aggressive and they're all over the place. They run a lot. So I think I just a gut feeling. I think they're going to surprise many and they're going to end up third in that.
Yeah, we shall see. Group B: Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. What do you think?
Atletico Madrid should be winning this group, no questions asked. But for the longest, Simeone just loves to surprise us. When you expect something from Simeone, he just does not deliver.
No.
And I genuinely fear that Atletico Madrid is going to be second in this group. I hope not. Look, my prediction is going to be Atletico, Porto, Leverkusen, and Club Brugge in that order. But I think I'm worried about Atletico Madrid because Atletico Madrid do this to us all the time. You expect them to top their group. You expect the performance out of them. You expect the result. And then when the expectations are high with Atletico Madrid, they kind of disappoint. So, but it's an easy group for them.
Yeah, I agree, but I'd probably use that mentality when they have a knockout game, where they have expectation in a knockout game, like they're up 2-0 home and then they have to play the away game. I don't trust them at all.
See, this is the thing with knockout, like last year against Man City, they could have easily knocked out Man City. Like the knockout games is where you expect them to lose and they end up fighting for a result.
Yeah, but like for example, in that Juventus series a couple of years back where Ronaldo was there, they're up 2-0 and they end up losing. Those are the type of examples I'm referring to.
I understand. I'll add another example to you, which is that Leipzig game where they should have that COVID year where they should have been in for the semifinals and they ended up losing to Leipzig.
Yeah. Also, the numerous Champions League finals with Real Madrid. But neither here nor
there. We're not going to get into that. Yeah, let's not get into that.
My prediction is pretty much the same as yours, but I'd actually put Club Brugge in third place instead of Leverkusen. I don't watch much of them. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I watch the Belgium league, but
you
don't. So Club Brugge, I saw them against PSG last year in the group stage. Very, very impressive. Very. I mean, not many games I've watched for them, but the 2 game span I saw against PSG, they looked really good. So I'm gonna give them the upper hand on Bayern Leverkusen and put them in third place.
Okay. Now this is the group of death: Barcelona, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, Victoria Pleasant. Now we all can agree Victoria Pleasant is just here for tourist attraction.
Diversity.
I think they're just here to basically pull up the red carpet for all these other teams. Two for the next round of the Champions League and one for the Europa League. So I think that's their job.
It's like when you apply to those Ivy League colleges and it's like 5% have to be from a minority group. That's Victoria.
Yeah, they're definitely there for affirmative action.
100%.
Okay. That being said, they're going to be bottom of the group. Then this is where it's difficult. Call me crazy, but it's going to be Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and then Inter. Inter is definitely going to be third, but Bayern Munich is going to be second in that group. That's my prediction.
Barcelona in first place?
Yes. I think with the signings that they've gotten under their belt this year and the way that they're playing, I do think with time they're going to gel. And it's going to be a very, very strong Barcelona side in the Champions League. It's going to be very scary to see. And they just got Conde registered, so they got their full team back. De Jong might not leave. He wants to stay. He's going to restructure his contract. So that's going to be another reason why they might be dominant. And we'll see, I guess.
So I like Barcelona. I agree with you. I think they're going to make some noise in the Champions League. But I think it's too early. Too early in the stage. So I think Bayern Munich is going to be in first place, Barcelona in second, Inter Milan in third, and I think it might even be close between Inter Milan and Barcelona. I like Barcelona's roster. They should be contending for the Champions League. I think they need more time to build up that chemistry. I mean, I'll say January, February is when things will start to click with Barcelona. So they might have a couple surprising results in this group, drop points against Inter and against Bayern Munich for sure. But yeah, I have it pretty much like you, except Bayern first, Barcelona second, Inter third. Pretty much the way it's organized already. Default.
Look, I think with the Lewandowski storyline, it's gonna be interesting to see. Now, Lewandowski, I'm sure Bayern doesn't miss him, but Lewandowski has something to prove. He has a chip on his shoulder with the Bayern Munich game, so it's a great storyline, and I do think he's gonna come out on top in this scenario. Moving on to Group D, Eintracht Frankfurt, Sporting Tottenham, and Marseille.
I think it's a pretty strong group as well. I mean, they're not all great teams, but they're very close in level.
It's a competitive group, I can tell you that much.
I'd go with Tottenham first, and surprisingly, I'd say Marseille second. I was thinking about putting Frankfurt there, but no, I believe in Marseille. I'll go Tottenham, Marseille, Frankfurt, and Sporting in fourth place.
I don't see anybody beating Tottenham for that number one spot. I'm leaning towards Sporting, Frankfurt, Marseille.
Oh wow! So me and you are different.
Completely different, yeah.
Marseille and Sporting specifically.
Uh-huh.
We have them flipped.
Yes. I'm leaning toward either Frankfurt or Sporting, but I think Marseille is going to end up bottom of that group.
All right, we shall see. I have them in second place. All right, Group B. AC Milan, Chelsea, RB Salzburg, and Dinamo Zagreb.
I don't think AC Milan are going to come out top. I think it's going to be Chelsea. See, Salzburg is a scary team, man. Salzburg has that same Leipzig style of play.
Yeah.
Where they're very tenacious, they're very fit, they're strong, they're fast.
And creative. They have creativity.
They're all over the place. So Salzburg could be, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I think Salzburg's gonna be the dark horse in that group. Is gonna be number 2. So it's gonna be Chelsea, Salzburg, Milan, and Zagreb.
Yeah, same for me. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna go with Salzburg in number 2, Milan in number 3. I think Salzburg is just exactly what you said. Athletic, creative. They would offer another dimension. AC Milan seems like they've dropped off a bit since last season.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think their focus is going to be more on the Italian league as opposed to the Champions League. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, moving on. Group F. Again, what is it with Manchester City and Real Madrid getting easier groups? Spoilers alert. I think you're going to say first.
Yeah, shocker. First place Real Madrid.
Surprise. You make a surprise for me.
Leipzig in number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have Celtic in number 3. And Shakhtar in number 4.
I agree with you with the top 2. I agree with you all the way. I think Celtic's going to be third. Celtic is one of those teams that on their day, they could nick a result here or there against Leipzig, and that's going to put them above Shakhtar for sure.
Yeah, I like Celtic. It's kind of for those reasons you mentioned when you talked about Rangers as well. They're athletic. They have high tenacity. Also, Game of Thrones season 2. So, Irish people, they have that fight in them.
Okay. Irrelevant, but okay.
Group G, favorite group of all. Man City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, Copenhagen, aka the capital of Denmark. Who do you have?
I see Man City top in the group, Borussia Dortmund coming second, Sevilla fulfilling their prophecy and winning Europa League, and Copenhagen just applauding the rest of those teams as they leave the group fourth.
I don't know. I think Sevilla can get that number 2 spot. I think it'll be competitive between those 3 after Man City, of course. And I can see Dortmund dropping into the Europa League.
I agree with you. I do see it. Especially like the same thing happened last year where they kind of they lost their spot to Sporting Lisbona. I think Sevilla is going to end up third. And Sevilla, we all know Sevilla in the Europa League, so
Have a have a good evening.
he's not there. So I think it's gonna be him or Villarreal. One of them is gonna win, either Sevilla for historic purposes or Mr. Good Evening himself, Unai Emery, just based off of history too. To be honest, like that's it's the only reason.
I feel like if you know you're not going to win the Champions League, which all
Yeah.
13 besides Man City know, it's like Europa League would be the way to go strategically.
But I don't think Copenhagen is gonna win Europa League either. So
Okay. Group H: PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa. Thoughts?
Haifa definitely last. I want to say Benfica is gonna end up second in that group behind PSG.
Wow, that's a surprise.
I'm leaning towards it. I don't know yet. I'm thinking because Juventus have strengthened, and it's gonna be a homecoming game for Di Maria. He's gonna go back to PSG. No, okay. I think it's PSG, Juventus, Benfica.
Yeah,
Is
same.
that-
I got it just like that. PSG, Juventus, Benfica. Benfica can make a little noise, but I don't like their personnel at the moment, especially after they sold Nunez. And Juventus, like you said, has done the opposite. They actually strengthened since last season. They brought on Di Maria. They have that player they got from Fiorentina in the middle of last season, who's been looking really good for them.
Oh,
Yeah,
Valovic.
yeah, he starts with a V. So
Hello.
yeah, should be a fun Champions League though. Group stages, I mean, there's a couple of groups. The group of death, and I think the PSG one will look fun too.
I'm excited to see Barcelona in this Champions League. To be honest with you,
So very early predictions. Who do you think gets to the final? I mean, we can change our predictions obviously as we get to the knockout stage. But if you had to make an early prediction,
I think
Like-
Liverpool. I think Liverpool and Barcelona.
wow. So clearly you thought with your heart on this one.
No, okay. I think Liverpool because they're not. I don't think they're going to be competing in the league, so that's all they're going to be That's all they're going to be fighting for.
Okay, you think
Um,
Klopp will be willing to do that? Like,
I think I definitely think he's going to basically get top four. If he's okay, so if Klopp finds himself competing in the league, then no. If he finds himself in January or February, a point behind, 2 points behind Man City, I think then the club is going to focus on the league. But if what's going to happen, what I think is going to happens, which is Man City are going to start to run away with it by January, February, that I
Yeah.
do think Klopp is going to shift his focus to the Champions League, and I do think his team is equipped to the Champions League. Like they're more intense in the Champions League. So that's what I think. I'm excited to see Barcelona. I think that they will actually prove a lot of people wrong and challenge in the Champions League. So that's a very overreaction pick. I think for some reason Man City is not gonna continue in the Champions League. I don't think. See, this is my fear with Man City. I do think Man City is gonna be struggling against tougher teams. I think Madrid isn't gonna be as lucky as last year.
Oh, I don't think anyone can be as lucky as Real Madrid last year, regardless of the sport.
Yeah, it's difficult, and also I don't think Bayern Munich I think Bayern Munich are going to start to fade off in the middle of next year, or sorry, in the middle of the season.
So this would be my overreaction prediction. I think it's going to be Man City versus PSG in the final, and I think you're going to have one of those oil money teams that finally win a Champions League. So that's one thing.
Maybe.
And number two, I think you'll find some good storylines in there. Messi versus Guardiola for his last ride, probably last time he'll get to the Champions League final. Guardiola finally getting over the hump with Man City. Same can be said for PSG. Mbappe and Neymar proving to be like a dynamic duo with Messi. Also, it's gonna have a lot of storylines after the World Cup. So we gotta remember this is gonna be post World Cup. So we don't know what's gonna happen in terms of injuries, in terms of relationships between players.
I do agree with you there. I think the World Cup is going to have a major effect on who.
The outcome.
No, I think. Well, yeah, of course the outcome, but I think on who who have something to play for, because a lot of players aren't going to go to the World Cup, as we mentioned before, like Haaland, Diaz, Salah. You got a few of those. Yeah, you got Mahrez too. There are certain key players that aren't gonna, even though Mahrez out of the whole bunch, like Mahrez is the most irrelevant guy out of them. But
That's
nonetheless,
Mars for
yeah,
you, I guess.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mahrez, and I think like hypothetically, let's say Messi wins the World Cup,
Yeah.
right? I don't think he's gonna have that. I don't think he's gonna care what happens with PSG after that. Like, of course, he's gonna fight. He's gonna play. He
Yeah.
might want to cap the season with a Champions League.
Yeah.
All that.
I think he'll still be a professional about it, but I don't think they'll get there because of Messi's tenacity.
Yes, exactly. I don't think he's gonna like. I think in the World Cup he might fight so hard that he gets injured. That's how much he wants the World Cup.
Yeah.
The same thing with Neymar, because Neymar, it's his last World Cup. And I think Neymar, that's what he said, his last World Cup. Ronaldo, same thing. Ronaldo, all he has to fight for is the World Cup.
Ronaldo can't even get into Man United's first team at the moment. No, he has
Man, see, that's one thing, man. How hard is it for Ronaldo right now? Ronaldo is it's such a fall from grace.
Yeah, and imagine if he would have just made the decision to go to Man City, how different things would have been.
I don't think Man City would have gotten Haaland for sure.
Oh yeah,
because Honda would have went somewhere else,
and you would have
or waited.
Yeah, and you still would have been in the limelight if you're Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I think he genuinely is thinking about retirement. Now, he might go to either the U.S. I think the U.S. for money, like for commercial purposes. Like he's gonna pull a David Beckham and go to the U.S. and try to get as much money as he can. That's what I would.
Probably start his own team in MLS or something.
That this was, I don't know where I read this, but I think this is an overreaction. Imagine Messi and Ronaldo try to buy a team together in the US and start competing. Because I know Messi had I think there was reports that he was offered by David Beckham for a small share in Inter Miami.
Inter Miami for sure.
Yeah, so how funny would it be if Ronaldo and Messi just buy shares in different teams, and then the Messi-Ronaldo rivalry lives on in the U.S.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. That's like a Hulu show or Netflix show right there.
That's basically milking every drop of the cow with that storyline.
Yeah, the cow's dead at that point.
But anyways, last thing I want to touch up in the Premier League. Sterling wins it for Chelsea with a brace, even though they were down to 10 men. Gallagher was immature in those two challenges. I think like Gallagher should be a bit more mature and more composed in the game. I think the second one, you didn't need to go in like that. You stopped on Drew Barry Hall's.
Like Gallagher, you're not at Crystal Palace anymore. You don't have to put in these challenges. We can actually play here. Like we can have possession. We can pass the ball around. We can use our technical skills. You don't have to be making those rash tackles.
Yeah, there was a goal ruled out, and after that for Leicester City, and I think it was ruled out for a good reason, but I think they could have went the other way. Definitely could have went the other way. But that being said, regardless of all that, I think Raheem Sterling finally broke his curse and scored a couple of goals to give Chelsea the game. I think it's time to panic for Leicester City. Leicester City need a signing or two. But I think they lost Fofana right now, one of their best defenders, to Chelsea.
I mean, they got good money for him. So, I mean, if you're Leicester City and you're willing to invest in the team, the capital's there.
Yeah, see, this is my thing with Brendan Rodgers. When Brendan Rodgers loses interest, I think it's a tough climb back. I think this is the year that Brendan Rodgers gets sacked with Leicester City.
Yeah, perhaps.
If they continue to play like this for another couple of months, I don't think Leicester City are going to keep Brendan Rodgers, and they're going to look elsewhere for a replacement. I think that's it for today. Interesting results all around. Champions League. The Champions League is coming back. I'm very excited. My favorite competition.
Yep,
and we'll see how it goes. This has been it for this week. This has been episode 5 of Reek Sheikh.
Reek
Thank
Sheikh.
you.
Thank you, people. We will see you next time.